you the latest information in sports cards, memorabilia, and collectibles. Here are your hosts, Erin Pilati, Tim Big Shep Shepler, and Kevin Whitey Gleason. Marge, I'm large.
Yeah, welcome to the glorious Saturday morning edition of the True Sports Card Show. I'm Whitey Gleason, and now it's time to meet the star of our show. And okay, he may not be an expert on UCLA basketball history, okay? We're not all experts. He is the guy in town to see for all your sports cards questions and needs. And I got to tell you, I've known this guy a while now. He's a Gem Mint 10, even though he's often way off center, which is what we like about him the most. Erin Pilati.
It's me. We're back. We're live. We're on YouTube. We got Anthony behind the window. Whitey here. We were actually at a card show less than half an hour ago.
Heck of a show.
It was a great show thus far. It's a lot like this show, but a card show. You and I are going to go remote location.
Mm-hmm.
And thank goodness for Scott Marsh to kind of help us set this up. Jay is in the field. He's enjoying a day of recreation. He's playing in his games. His fast pitch, slow pitch.
I think
Softball.
Slow pitch.
Softball.
I think. And I hope I'm not disrespecting them. But yeah, we had some, as they say, hey, we had some gremlins.
Hey, we were trying to make it work, but it just didn't work, guys.
Yeah.
So why didn't I hustle back here to the studio?
So you're going back to the show, right? Because I know some people heard us yesterday and they're wanting to go out there.
I'm the wallet.
Yeah.
For buying cards, I'm the one that's got to go buy them. So
you can still meet Erin Pilati today. Just have to wait till after.
Yeah, the big line to meet me. I'm sure of it. Welcome, everybody. I'm glad to talk to you live and back here in California. Unlike last week where I was in Chicago. I can't believe it's just last week.
It's
Seems
amazing.
Like it was a year ago.
Last week you're in Chicago, crystal clear audio. This week we can't even get the connection going, 12 minutes away.
The real connection is you, Whitey. A lot of things going on. Let's just catch up real quick. The Sacramento show, it's going on right now at the Wyndham Hotel off of Madison and the 80 freeway. That's where Whitey and I were just a few minutes ago. My team is there. We've got Shep, AJ, Donovan, and Ethan there ready to buy, sell, trade with you. Nice. I think it's like $5 entry fee, no parking fee. So is it $1?
$1.
Oh, you paid for it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if it was $5, you'd be like, I'll wait for you in the car.
I'm working.
So, it's $1 to get in. So,
and I think for kids, and I should have the flyer, I don't, but I think 12 and under might be free.
Sure.
Like that, yeah.
Whatever. I think what it is not to make the money. It's just to kind of keep the riffraff out. And $1 can do that, I guess.
Didn't keep me out.
Yeah.
I'm as riff as
you're like, I'd like to pay
gets.
$1 for my riff and $1 for my raff.
Yes.
I'll give you $2.
Uh-huh.
So we've got that going on today. And then next week, you and I will be at it's called The Collected. That's the name of the show, the group that puts it on. It's going to be at the Hard Rock Casino and Event Center in Wheatland, California. So I'll be there. I'll be there, hopefully remote.
Mm-hmm.
And I and you will be connected somehow, and we'll make it happen from the live event.
That's a big deal.
I have a feeling that right after the radio show, you're going to be out on the slots. What are you going to be doing?
During.
What's that noise? Why is it so loud? Oh, Whitey's at the slot. He's the Wheel of Fortune slot machine right now. Yeah. Have you ever been to that venue? You went with me, didn't you?
No.
That must have been a different radio host. Yeah, no, we enjoy that location. A1 Combat, where I sponsored last year with Uriah Faber's group.
Mm-hmm.
They held most of their fights there. So I was always there for the sponsorship aspect of it. And it was a great time. I had a really good time. It's a beautiful venue. So that card show will be going on next week. And then we have another card show behind that, actually two of them. The Auburn card show is going to be on April 5th in Auburn, California, as well as a strictly Pokemon and non-sports show that's going to be held in Pittsburgh, California. So my team's going to be split up again. So we'll have a presence at the Pokemon show in Pittsburgh. We'll be at the the Auburn show. Yeah.
Presence at the Pokemon show
in
Pittsburgh.
And so I'm not going to the Pokemon show because I don't know anything about it. But my team does, and we're going to have our experts out there. Enough about where we're going to be. Let's talk about where we are now. Let's talk about this past week, both with the Kings, myself being in Chicago, tell me about Drive Guys this past week. I was on with you yesterday, but what's been the topic of conversation here locally?
Oh,
let's convert that to cards.
Right. The roller coaster of the Kings season. You know, oh, they have the losing streak. Wow, they beat Memphis. Well, they beat Cleveland. Now they got
We're going to the
Bulls. This will be
finals.
easy money. Oh no, disaster again. So what goes up must come down, and we just continue to
B500.
endure this up, this down, this up, this down. We'll see where it goes.
How are you handling it?
It's a little discouraging, but I think the reality is right now, and I know you have the standings right there, and a lot of Kings fans have them kind of tattooed on your brain. Right now, it looks like they're going to be ninth, but as Sam Amick said yesterday on the Carmichael Dave show, they haven't actually clinched even a play-in yet. And when I heard him say that, I thought, yeah, but, Dallas, blah, blah, blah. Well, Dallas is getting AD back, and they're getting maybe Lively back and maybe Gafford. So it looks like Dallas, with all the grief they're getting locally, maybe they're going to try to make a run at the 10 spot. So
I know that AD is like going to G League to
yeah,
rehab.
the
It's like,
Texas Legends or whatever they are.
just shut it down. That's what I'm hoping that they shut it down.
I know, I
please.
assume, yeah.
Let's just shut this down. And as you go to a website like ESPN or wherever you go to check the standings, I always look for the X's or E's at the bottom that says they've been eliminated officially. We know that the Jazz and the Pelicans have been officially eliminated. Spurs, Blazers, and Mavericks are 11 through 13 right now in the division, in the conference. We just need to see some E's. Let's get some eliminations.
Yeah.
That's the first step. Keep winning, Kings. But if we can get some E's and eliminate, and at least at the very worst, lock in the 10 spot.
Yeah. You know what all
That's
the
where we're at.
smart people look at? My dad taught me this a long time ago. When you're looking at standings, use that loss column. Because right now, the Suns have 3 more losses than the Kings. The Suns you can't unlose a game. You can always win games. You can't unlose them. So Phoenix and Dallas both have 3 more losses than the Kings. So that sets you up nicely because they ain't getting those back.
The problem as of airtime right now, whether you're listening to on the replay podcast, but right now, 10 something o'clock on Saturday, Kings are 9th, Timberwolves are 8th. They have the tiebreakers in all formats against us because the Timberwolves won I think they played the first game of the year and won. You and I went to a game.
With Jay.
Yeah. So point of what I'm getting at is it's unlikely, unless there's some real slippage by 8 and 7, which is Timberwolves Clippers, for the Kings to catch and go 8th.
Clippers playing well. Clippers have that tiebreaker. Clippers are 10 over now. Yeah. So to me, 8th is like mathematically it could happen, but it's probably not going to happen.
Kings are 4.5 back of the Timberwolves as we speak. So they play tonight against the Milwaukee Bucks. Here's what I would tell you, Kings fans, as we look at what we expected this week to look like. We had a nice win. Then we won. We won against Cleveland, which was supposed to be an absolute L. Won against Memphis. And then, of course, the discouraging game against the Bulls where we were up 19, ended up going down.
The Kevin Huerter game.
The revenge game.
Mm-hmm.
Who made no bones about it. Red Velvet was like, no, this is a revenge game.
Good for him.
I was not expecting that dog in him. Like, where was that guy in Sacramento? I guess they just kind of beat him down to where he didn't feel that way.
When you play, you're the Kings and you play the Bulls, and nothing against them, but Kevin Huerter has a way bigger game than Zach LaVine. You're in big trouble. That's what happened.
Zach was quiet. In fact, I was like, I think he didn't even score his first points until the third quarter. It was bad. So what I was going to say was, how has that affected Kings' values? Not much either way. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, as far as the interest of people coming into the shop and saying, do you have Kings cards? Not happening. Sabonis out for 10 days minimum. I mean, we're just seeing a stagnant shrug of the shoulders right now as far as the interest in the Kings cards, let alone interest in the Kings in general. I think you said it yourself, Whitey, that the general idea or thought process of the Kings and the fan base is kind of like,
there's more of a malaise right now.
Malaise is the word.
Yeah. So hopefully they string together some more wins and do something in the play-in, and then we'll get that fever back. I don't want my fever back. That's a different story.
Yeah, welcome back. I know you've been sick. 9 or 10 doesn't really matter, truly. You still need to win 2.
Yeah, I'd like to have at least one home game out of those 2.
Oh, is that
9?
Is that what we're doing?
9 is your home.
Best of 3 or best of 5 or best of 7?
What, the play-in? No,
best of 1.
Yeah, it's 1. If you're 7-8, you get 2 chances to win 1. If you're 9 or 10, you must win 2. And you'd rather have at least one of those at home. So if you're 9th, just like last year, you had the home game against the Warriors. Now you get to go play the Pelicans. They don't have Zion. You'll beat them easy because, you're due to beat them. And then you know.
And then you lose 4 times in a row, 5 times in a row. Yeah. So I would just say that are we buying Kings cards? Yes, we are, but it's not so strange. I hate saying that. Just I'm indifferent at this point because they sell. They just don't sell like they do when the teams.
Sure. It seems to me, Emran, that the issue as far as the Kings cards being collectible, it's also part of the issue with the roster. You know, when collecting basketball cards, what does everyone want? The big name rookies. And the Kings just haven't, they haven't drafted that type of guy. Keegan is the most recent guy they drafted like that. I know we've talked about this. His stock has kind of been, I think there's good value there potentially, but like Domas, and you mention this all the time, Domas, DeRozan, Levine, their rookie cards aren't even Kings cards. So as far as the market, I think the market locally suffers from some of the same things that potentially you could say the roster suffers from. It's
one of those things as well. Like, do I make a commitment to a guy like LaRavia, who's a pending free agent? I like him. I think he's got great upside. I don't know if he's ever going to be a starter, but a super sub, if Keon moves into the starting lineup, which he probably, you got a 4-man rotation there with Keon being number 4 behind Malik and Zach and DeRozan in that lineup. But like, he's a super sub. He's the 6th or 7th man off the bench. Depends on where you put JV at, but I like LaRavia and I would love to make a commitment to him with cards, but is anybody collecting Kevin Huerter cards here in Sacramento anymore? No, it's, out of sight, out of mind. Good luck to you. But that's what it really comes down to. So, I had to sell my Chris Duarte collection.
You didn't tell me.
I'm kidding.
I actually have some.
Is Colby Jones still on the team?
No. He just had a big game this week at Washington.
Is that where he's at? Oh, he's part of the Jonas trade.
But
right?
I think he just had a big game. Good for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I always wanted to be successful.
I do have some Duarte cards, rookie cards in sleeves. It's like you go through things like, okay, that didn't work out.
When he was with the Pacers, it's like, wow, this guy's really good. It's turned into nothing. And then so that also leads into the 49ers aspect of things. That's kind of how I felt about the 49ers. As the season was slipping away, as you saw more and more injuries, you could just feel the fan base going, I don't really want to buy a McCaffrey card. I mean, if I have one, great, but I'm not actively going out to seek one. Purdy's interest started to wane. Really what it comes down to, I remember collecting during the 2010, 12, 14 run of the San Francisco Giants. Boy, I could sell the Bat Boys cards at that time. I mean, the Giants were just on fire. And it obviously just comes down to the wins and losses and whether or not people are interested in doing it. So with the Niners being where they're at, with them letting go as much talent as they've let go, well, if you want to call it talent, or talent that's been injured, or talent that's been not being able to get on the field, the Niners reception right now is kind of really lukewarm as well. Malaise.
Yeah.
Are you feeling that? Do you guys have 49ers talk on your drive, guys?
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's been a lot of talk about the roster changes and how it looks like, this is a team that since 2019, they've been trying to win the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. This year's more about, we want to win a Super Bowl, but we got to kind of retool here financially. So I think fans are kind of dealing with that. And I think people are going to be upset by how much Brock Purdy's going to get. I think he's going to get close to 60, and I think he's worth that. And I think people are going to be upset by that.
You and I ran the show a couple weeks ago, and we thought a deal was imminent. It has not been imminent. In fact, I haven't even heard much about it since then.
Yeah. The latest I heard was Tim Kawakami, who's very well connected, says by May or so it should happen. But so we'll see.
All right. With that said, we've got to prep for the NFL draft. It's happening in less than 6 weeks. That's really coming up pretty quickly. End of April. Niners with the 11th pick. We can speak more about that. Who are you hoping is available at that time, Whitey?
I was, last time we talked about this, I think it was last week, I was all in on the tackle, Mimbo, offensive tackle. But I think, the 49ers, historically, they don't draft offensive linemen high. And so they're probably going to take a defensive tackle. And you look at their defense has been depleted this year by all the moves they've made. Yeah. They have to replace about 5 starters on defense. So I'd be surprised if they don't go defensive line. I didn't answer your question. I just give you a position rather than a player.
That's fine. And I'm looking at one of the
are a lot of tackles.
One of the mock drafts has Cam Ward at the top, Shador going to the Cleveland Browns, Abdul Carter going to the Giants, and then Armand Membu from Missouri, the offensive tackle that you're talking about. They have going fourth to the Patriots. And I know that the Patriots are looking for some sort of somebody that's going to block the blind side for Drake May. Offensive tackles, even defensive players don't get a lot of love in the hobby.
Right.
Offensive players, offensive tackles, guards, they just get centers. They get zero love.
I got a Penny Sewell rookie card. I'll sell you.
And he's really good for the Lions.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah. Joe Alt, great player. Doesn't matter. So you're going to have these sexy positions that people are going to go after. And cornerbacks could kind of be that, but not really even them. You'll see the first defensive player of real interest will be Travis Hunter, obviously as a two-way player. So these cards are coming. Bowman, Chrome, as well as Bowman's Best are out. These players are in there. And I think the one player that you should pay attention to, and I know I'm skipping around right now, but let's just touch a few different sports. As far as the collecting world, I would tell you that look for the Raiders at 6 with Genty. I think that's a Marshawn Lynch type running back that Carroll wants. They need somebody like that.
He's trying to rebuild what he had in Seattle.
And I think we have some real interest. And I think that him being one of the top running backs, the top running back in this draft, going to the Raiders, he's going to be a featured back going for 3 downs, 4 downs. He'll be one of those guys that's going to get a lot of usage because he did a lot of usage in college. And I think that he's one of those workhouse backs that you're going to see a lot of business with.
To me, Emron, the really interesting thing about that is how NFL teams, it looks like they're revisiting the idea that, running backs it's easy to get a good running back. And then we're finally realizing, after last year, the year Barkley had, teams are realizing, no, those guys are really valuable. They're worth a really elite running back is worth a lot of money, where for the last few years, it's been trending the other way.
Well, yeah, they've been going by committee. And it's not as good as you think it's supposed to be. As an example, Miami had Mostert, they had A-Chain. You had a bunch of different guys that were playing. Niners tried to do it with Eli Mitchell, Jordan Mason, guys that aren't on our team anymore.
Yeah. Still have Garindo.
You have Garindo and you have McCaffrey. So we'll see what McCaffrey's the workhouse back, but I don't know if he'll ever be able to get to where he's at. Look for
here's a Tankathon mock that has the 49ers at 11 taking Will Johnson, corner, Michigan. I'll be surprised if they take a cornerback.
Well,
with the 11th.
Well, they lost Shavarius Ward too, who was in the secondary. And that was an unfortunate leave, but I understand why.
Right.
Yeah, it's a very personal and deep hurt here in this area for him. The Niners in this mock draft take Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle guard from Texas. Still don't like it. That has this mock draft has Genty from the Cowboys coming in right behind him. And I would pick Genty.
What is your
this draft? Mock? WalterFootball.com.
Okay. Tankathon, to your credit, Tankathon, their mock, number 6, Ashton Genty, Raiders. So
I think that's
just as you called it.
I think that's where he goes.
That's why the Pilati mock is the only one you need to pay attention to.
Yeah, the Hottie Pilati draft. Yeah, that's me. So with that said, I would just say that the Niners at 11, I would love to see them pick up another. It sounds crazy, but you got to pick up another wide receiver. When you lost Debo, you have Ayuk coming off of an injury. You have Pearsall, who miraculously saw the field after being shot in the chest. You have Jawan Jennings. I wouldn't mind another one. And if that Trenton kid from Arizona is available, McMillan, T-Mac, I would love him. I know that he's a great receiver. And then also if there's any way for us to get another position player of note on the offensive side, I'd grab them.
Yeah. I'm looking at the mock. I'm not being rude, like ignoring you, looking at my phone. I'm just looking at a mock draft. Yeah.
There's a question by Peg Junk, one of our favorite listeners. So would now be the time to buy Kings or Niners cards as prices readjust in a out of market setting? I think I know what that means.
Yeah. I think it's something to consider. Who knows how it's going to work out, but like the players we were just talking about, Keegan and Brock Purdy, Murray and Purdy.
Yeah, it's so interesting about Murray. He was such an untouchable asset 2 years ago because we saw the trajectory. And there are times I'm just like, wow, this guy's incredible. And then there's times like, dude, you're wide open and you're missing these threes. I don't know how I project Murray. I like him. I would rather have him than not.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, he's just not the untouchable character that he was at one
He's
time.
probably never going to be that elite, number one. He's going to be a really
Strong
important
three
player on a hopefully a good team. But like, is he ever going to be, down the road? Oh, he's one of the elite players we've ever seen. Probably not. That's okay. So, from a basketball standpoint, that's all right. That's very workable. From a collector standpoint, that's what you got to consider.
He's affordable. You can get a signed, you can get an autograph, non-numbered rookie card of Murray for $20 or so.
I think a ceiling for him might be, and I talked to Jerry about this. Jerry liked it. And I actually talked to the guy that I made the comp to. I think Keegan might end up being like Sean Elliott. And I talked to Sean Elliott about that. And he goes, I appreciate that. He's a better shooter than I was.
You talked to Sean Elliott about that?
Yes.
You know Sean Elliott?
Oh, he was on our show.
My goodness. Yeah, I love Sean Elliott.
Yeah.
Another
a really good player, but not like, people don't come in going, do you have any Sean Elliott cards?
He might have been, it's never happened. I don't even think Sean Elliott's mom is looking for Sean Elliott cards. Sean Elliott, I wonder if he was ever an all-star. I think he was once. Once or maybe once, because I just looked at 2 times all-star,
twice,
93 and 96, and an NBA champion, obviously.
Right.
We all know about
really solid, good
the
player.
Sean Elliott tippy-toe three-pointer where he was. Do you see that one? Do you remember that one?
I think
his heels, if they just hit the ground, would have been out of bounds, and he wouldn't have hit this game-winning shot. Great player, great, solid, not even role player because he was a starter for many years.
He's more than a role player, but he wasn't a superstar. I think kind of that's where Keegan may end up. And that's not a bad thing. Sean Elliott was a really good player. But again, from a collector standpoint,
if you love Keegan Murray and you love screaming Keegan Murray in the stadium and you want an autograph for $20, he's a good way to get it. Keon Ellis's stuff is still underpriced too. You can get Keon Ellis autographs for under $10 on a card. Collect who you want. And as you speculate with these very expensive opportunity cards, it's always fun to be able to get a good player that you really enjoy, that you see on a regular basis playing for under $20.
See, that's why, Emran, using my head, I could never afford this anyway. But the Skeens card going for $1.11 million, to me, it's like I would stay away from that.
We could jump to that. You want to talk about Skeens?
Well, I don't know what you think. It's
give
just
the background
for a right-hander, a young pitcher. In baseball now, guys don't win even 200 games. He's not going to win anywhere close to 300 games. And pitchers, they tend to not last as long. So, I understand the hype, and this is a very unique card that just got sold at auction. Turns out Dick's Sporting Goods bought the one-of-one Skeens rookie patch card for $1.11 million. But as far as value, if I had that kind of money and I was looking at it and had an option, the opportunity, I don't think I'd bid that much. I'd steer clear of it.
It's so interesting. Those people that worked at Dick's Sporting Goods that were laid off, looking at this purchase and going, really?
Wow, really? I hadn't thought of that.
Well, think about how many salaries that covers.
I didn't know they'd laid people off.
Of course.
Oh,
in the weird economy that we're in right now, they've laid people off, and then all of a sudden they spend $1.1 million on a card that they're going to display. I'm sure that feels good.
Yeah.
So that is true. It did sell for $1.1 million. I always thought it was going to reach that number. The Ellie De La Cruz sold for about $600,000. So I knew that the Skeens was going to hit that mark. And Skeens is an incredible player, but dollars to donuts, as people say, taking an investment of like that on a pitcher.
Exactly.
We have decades of records showing, we have the receipts that pitchers just don't hold super strong value.
Teams are reluctant to give long-term deals to pitchers for that very reason. You don't know if they're going to hold up. By the way, speaking of donuts, you were eating a donut yesterday, weren't you, when you came in?
Let's change the subject. I had a cruller from Bad Bakers. Have you ever? That's the one that I keep bringing the
Yeah.
bread.
I haven't had a donut in long. You said dollars to donuts, and I start thinking.
And you're like, donuts.
Hey, everyone had a donut yesterday. I don't know what you said. That's all I was thinking about when you were talking. It looked good.
So as I'm talking, you're like, did he say donuts? Yeah. Peg Junk comes back and says something along the lines of, so the Skeens card will be about $850 in 6 years then? I think it might be less than that, sooner than that. It's really interesting in the sense of like, when you're talking about super high value cards, how volatile they can be. But when you have the only one, this might be the most talked about card. I wouldn't say ever. On Honus Wagner is obviously the most talked about card, or Jordan rookie card. Those are talked about cards. But as far as modern, yeah, I would say that this is, if you own the Skeens card, you are somebody important.
And the Duarte rookie.
And Duarte rookies. Well,
yeah,
depends on which one, yeah.
Concourse Select Prism.
We could talk a little bit about. Now you're just making up. You're just mashing in cards of Concourse Select Prism.
Yeah, NBA Select Concourse Level Silver Prism Chris Duarte.
That is a true card.
Yeah, I have it.
Well, I guess you're the one.
By the way, only 2 cards since the beginning of this year, according to The Athletic, have sold publicly for more than where the auction for Skeens ended Thursday. So $1.37 million for a 1916 M1014 Sporting News Babe Ruth blank back rookie PSA 7 grade.
I got 6 of those.
And you may have one of these, a $1.2 million 0304 Upper Deck Exquisite Collection LeBron rookie patch auto numbered 18/23 Beckett 8.5 card grade 10 auto grade. So those are the only 2 cards.
I don't have one, but I did hold that. I did hold one of those.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You think Jessica would be like, yeah, we just have that 1.1 million. She'd be like, sell it now. Beckett needs fresh diapers. So yeah, we would. And I think at any card other than the 3 cards that I own that I won't say out loud.
But I've seen that. I think you showed those to me.
Yeah, I have some pretty significant cards.
The Wally Zerbiak and some other ones.
And a Wally Joyner. And I just collect Wallies.
Wally Backman.
Wally Backman.
Mount Wallymore.
Yeah. Wally, you're on my top 4 Wallies. Who are the other 3? Well, I can think of 2.
There was a guy on the Dodgers named Wally Moon a long time ago. There you go. Wally Moon, Wally Backman, Wally Zerbiak,
and Wally Joyner.
Yeah. Mount Wallymore.
This is where our show has devolved to, where we're talking about Wallies. I would just say that like any card that's in that stratosphere of $100,000 plus always is subject to big ups and big downs. And sometimes it comes down to what happens to that person off the field.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a quick example in the shoe game. Friend of mine by the name of Ryan Chang, really, this is a public statement. One of my really close friends, he lives in New York. He's a big sneakerhead. And he sold the Kanye Yeezy shoes that was used at the Grammys. It was pretty much the kickoff of what the sneaker culture started. So he sold at auction at Sotheby's for $1.4 million. And then Kanye did, and I won't go into detail, but Kanye turned into Kanye and he said certain things, did certain things, acted certain ways. And the company that bought it was a company called Rally. Those were the ones that bought the shoes from Ryan at $1.4 million. Well, Rally is a fractional ownership group. So it's like, we'll take 1,000 different people, we'll invest the money together and we'll buy an item. So Whitey, you would own 1/1000th of it. I would own 1/1000th of it. And we and 998 other people would own the shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after that whole stuff happened off the court,
yeah,
that stuff dropped. They sold those just to get out of it. They sold it for less than $100,000 for those shoes. Everybody took a bath. And it really comes down to what happens with a player or a celebrity in this case off the court. Right. Or if there's an injury,
that's it. Yeah.
If you invested in LeBron at this moment and he had a career-ending injury, I'm knocking on wood. I would never want that for anybody. But if he did, his legacy is cemented.
Yeah.
It's done. It's fine. He could quit today. He's first ballot, unanimous, no doubt about it. Don't even breathe. Hall of Famer. But what if Luka went down? I'm knocking on wood that he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, that ain't
But let's
good, but
let's
I got
just.
your point.
I'm knocking on Presswood.
Formica.
Yeah, Formica. Knock on Formica. Is he a Hall of Famer? What happens to his cards?
Right.
And I think that's where, when you invest in modern active players that are in the middle of their careers, I don't want Paul Skeen's arm to blow out, but what if he blows out his arm and you spent 1.1 million? Peg Junk is right. That volatility comes down. I mean, I'm just trying to think of a player that was on trajectory to be one of the greats, and then just something happened. Can you think of anybody? Just top of your head?
Kerry Wood.
Kerry Wood blew out his arm.
Looked like, this guy was 21 strikeouts, whatever.
20 strikeouts.
And then on the other hand, a guy like Clemens, who was like, oh, this guy's unbelievable. And then
Mark Pryor.
Yeah.
Mark Pryor's another one that was just.
Clemens was reputation, not injury, but yeah.
And then you look at some of the short-term dominance. Tim Lincecum was going to be one of the great pitchers of all time.
Yeah.
And he had about 6 years of absolute dominance. Is he a Hall of Famer? I don't know. I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. How about Mad Bum? Bumgarner.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible 4-year, 5-year run. Kind of petered out at the end.
That's why the more you and I talk about this, and it's more you talking and me listening, I tend to gravitate more and more towards vintage stuff for that reason. Less volatility. Yeah.
And it really depends. If you want those big gains, you got to take the big swings.
Sure.
But such is life. I mean, it's up to you to make the investment. I would just say that right now I would be looking, again, I'm going to be conservative for our listeners. I'm not conservative for myself, but that's my money, my choice, my risk. I'm okay with taking those chances because I have to do that.
You've also got a substantial cushion where you can afford if things don't go your way, you're okay. You can absorb it.
You know, this is really interesting. I ran into a friend of mine because I flew to Chicago last week for a show, and a good friend of mine named Luke was going. I saw him at the airport. He's also a card guy too, big time card guy. And he was going to the Dallas show. I was going to the Chicago show. So we were running into each other, hugged and said, what's up? And kind of reminisced because 6 years ago, I've had the shop now for a little over 3 years. 6 years ago, 5 years ago, I was doing the show that you and I were just at less than an hour ago.
At the Wyndham?
At the Wyndham.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing the show. And at my table, I had like $200-$300 cards at the highest price point. And Luke, who has dabbled in the thousands of dollars of cards for some time now, slightly younger than me in his early 40s. And he's like laughing at me. Look at you. You're so cute with your little cards. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about being cute. This is kind of my wheelhouse. I feel comfortable with this. I don't really want to invest in bigger cards. And so we took a chance, and Luke was like, well, let me help you with some of this stuff. And I said, okay, I wouldn't mind taking some advice. So in Stockton, I had this little warehouse, a little office, and I used to do my autograph signings and all that stuff there. And I saved up some money, and I created a bankroll of about 10 grand. And I was working with Luke. We were looking on eBay for opportunities. And this was December of 2020, during the pandemic. And so I go, I'm just going to go use the restroom, whatever. And Luke goes, I'll just keep looking for stuff. And so Luke finds a Michael Jordan rookie card, PSA 8, and he buys it. And I go, hey man, find anything? Yeah. I bought it on eBay. I said, you bought what? He said, I bought a PSA 8 Jordan rookie card. I said, how much was that? He said, $700. I said, what are you doing? I was screaming at him, right?
Yeah.
Because I thought he was going to buy a $200 or $400, $500 card. This guy buys a PSA 8, $700 with my money. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what are you doing? You just blew.
Quite a friend.
You just blew 77% of my bankroll on one card. He goes, trust me, it's going to work. Well, a month and a half later, we went to the Dallas card show, and Luke sold that exact card for $20,000. 45 days later, that's how crazy the market was. And at that moment, I realized, okay, smart investing, let's make this happen. I've been able to do that multiple times since those days. And now we have commonly in our cases, thousands of dollars per card in the cases. So even though you're starting small as an investor, listener, I would just tell you that you couldn't even believe how quickly you can advance into more heavier investing if you're smart about it. And I would just tell you at this moment, as you're entering the job of or the case of getting into more smart investing, I'm with you, Whitey. I would go with a little bit of mutual funds and do a little bit more vintage or solidified guys,
Yeah.
goats like Brady, Jordan,
Like
LeBron's.
your Jordan story. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They won't go down and they can't do anything really to their legacy, provided nothing terrible happens,
Mm-hmm.
no Wander Franco stuff. But what I'm getting at is like, as long as we could stay away from that, I think that those are nice investments that will pay off dividends in the long term.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
we got some people in here that are throwing some ideas of people that went to, that were on track to be huge.
Oh, okay.
Rick Ankiel says peg junk.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, he blew out his arm and then he had the yips.
Whatever he had. Yeah.
He could
Never
not-
seen anything like it.
Yeah, threw hard, played for the Cardinals, lefty, exceptional athlete, couldn't hit the catcher's mitt.
Right.
For
No idea where it was going.
him, I think Mark Wohlers went through the same type of thing where they just couldn't hit. They were terrible. Mitch Williams
There were actually some catchers that went through it too.
couldn't throw the ball back to the mound,
Yes.
right? Who was it?
Mackie Sasser. Mackie Sasser was a guy, and he would get the ball and he'd just like,
Played for the
Pounded.
Mets?
receive the pitch. I think he was in the Giants system at one point. He'd get it and like pounded it and couldn't throw it back. Just couldn't pull the trigger.
Amadrox says two of them. He says Destin Pedroia, Woodland Zone.
Yeah. He was an MVP though, wasn't he?
He was,
Yeah.
but a very short,
Yeah.
short time. I think he's even on the Hall of Fame ballot, but I don't think he's getting much love. And then Bo Jackson is one of the big famous ones. I mean, he was going to be a Hall of Famer in both,
Right.
in both sports.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was on track to be absolute Hall of Famer in both sports for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That injury where he's pulled down from behind, that's why they don't have the horse collar tackle anymore because of that injury against the Bengals. Derailed a career. AC says that bread that I bring in from Bad Breakers is like crack. I would agree with that. I would call Whitey a breadhead.
Yeah.
You do like that bread.
It's
and you
very
tell
good.
me don't bring any more.
Very good.
And then Kyle always asks, Draper's always like, yeah, man, don't bring that. I can't eat that. And then on break, he's sitting there scarfing it down.
Yeah. Drapes is going to drape, man.
Yeah, Drape's gonna drape. One more thing, going back to Sammy Spear, he says Sean Elliott was an all-star player before he had that kidney issue. That's right. He had a transplant, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. He had some sort of kidney issue. So, at any rate, good feedback, guys. We love the ability for you to join us on YouTube as well.
This is the first time you've ever had the text line open. I know we haven't given the number. You have anybody on the text line?
Nobody wants to text at 916-339-1140
This is
or
Emirate's
1-800
first time. 920.
920-1140.
It's Emirate's first time looking at the text line. So if you want to hit them up there.
Nobody's going to want to talk to me on the text line. They messaged me on my actual phone. So let's see here. I'm getting messages from my team saying, "Can you give me the money?" Let's see here. Yeah, they're buying out there at the Sports Card Show. We are buying actively right now. Strangely enough, I just wanted to share with you our eBay numbers since the last time that we talked. We're now over 53,000 individual listings on eBay. We've been selling anywhere from 150 to 300 cards a day. So I hired an additional person to help pack. So now we have more of a shipping team. It's been a lot.
Well, I don't mean to brag, but since you brought it up, my current listings on eBay, I think I have 10, and I just sold a couple days ago a 2024-25 NBA Hoops Luka Doncic Sheesh foil card for $2.10. So,
and the profit margin on that?
Little flex there.
And profit margin on that?
Yeah. We're still, my accountant hasn't gotten back to me with that yet.
Yeah, I was going to say
Dallas bought it. I almost sent him an extra card because I felt sorry for him.
It's interesting because I would tell you that I have most of my cards that I sell on eBay are under $20, and almost 85% of those are under $10.
Mm-hmm.
So these little micro sales mean a lot in the grand scheme of things. So I would just tell you, Whitey, that your entire collection, your 10 that you have on right now, there's a strong market for that.
Yeah.
Although you do have your vintage
10 listings. One of them is actually
a vintage lot.
Yes. Sold one of those this week. Yeah.
What'd you sell?
I sold a lot of 88 Fleer basketball, including the Jordan sticker.
All right. So here's what I would like to know. For those of you that are on the YouTube, or you're able to join in the text line. Oh, we've got it. Let's see here. I got a text.
Be careful before you
I got
read
a
it.
text from the 916.
Yeah.
It's Mark. He says, what's your info and eBay stuff? I would be interested in investing
Ooh.
It says, what would be interested in investing in Mark. So maybe his name is Mark, or maybe he's wants to invest in Mark. McGuire, don't do it. Messier, maybe. Yeah, maybe your name's Mark, but anyways, yeah. So go to our eBay. Our eBay is True Sports Cards 916. That is our eBay ID. Or you could just go to our website, truesportscards.com, and check that out.
Mm-hmm.
You were obviously at the shop last week. You came by, I think it was last week or the week before.
It's been a while.
You spent a little money in there. What'd you end up buying?
The last time I was in there, I bought some 72 Topps basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is
like a Nate Thurmond and a Walt Frazier, and there was one other card. I'll think of it in just a moment. But anyway, yeah, that's a set that I might try to finish. And you've got quite a collection of stuff. It's really cool. You gave me like the secondary box. Like, well, let me get you the box in the back. And there was some great stuff in there.
We have so many cards that I just it's just too hard. It's not too hard. We're gonna do it, but it's a
West
challenge.
Unseld was the other one I got.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
The big outlet.
72.
Big outlet. Kevin Love modeled his game after that. Wes would grab a rebound and throw
baseball pass.
He'd throw it 3/4 court for a streaking layup. I'm a big fan of 1990s basketball. It's kind of my era growing up and watching the NBA on NBC and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you breaking news. Do you have a soundbite for breaking news, Anthony? He's going to hit the button. Don't worry.
If he doesn't, I'll come up
We'll
with something.
We'll edit this.
Now, breaking card news.
When it breaks,
we have it first.
It's Sacktown Sports breaking news.
Card news.
As of this morning, we have the Sacramento Sports Card Autograph Expo that we have. It's going to be September 26th through 28th.
Mm-hmm.
You were there last year. You and Kyle did drive guys from there.
Last year was in.
This was in
last year was in
May of last year.
Yeah.
And what we have is we were in the Jones Hall at the fairgrounds. Very big. I think it was like 9,000 or 10,000 square feet, maybe bigger.
Quite a show.
Yeah, quite a show. That was where we had Rodman and Ricky Henderson and Johnny Manziel Frank Thomas and Kevin Mitchell. We had Dave Stewart. We had, the big names. I can tell you that as of this morning, I signed a contract. We have a big name. We have big game. James Worthy is going to be joining us as our first headliner. So the top 50 NBA player of all time, the guy that was part of the Showtime Lakers, he'll be signing autographs at our show and doing, photo ops and all that good stuff. So James Worthy is our first announcement, and I'm on the brink of signing a future Hall of Fame running back for the 49ers, former running back for the 49ers, future Hall of Famer. I'm on the brink of that. So hopefully by next show,
who that is?
By next show, I'll be able to announce that one. So Big Game James is part of what we're going to be doing. We're looking at a really exciting lineup this year. I'll keep working. I could tell you one person that I was working on that will not happen, and that I can confirm is not going to happen, is Barry Sanders.
Really?
I spoke to him at the Chicago show. He was there. I had a chance to meet him. Wonderful guy. I'm taller than him, by the way.
Really?
Yes, I am. And I'm 5'9", maybe.
Does he listen to the show, Barry?
He barely listened to me talking to him in person. So I'm going to guess no. Although Drapes goes, my man, Barry Sanders, that's my guy. Like, he knows you? Well, I mean, I waved at him once. So yeah, I guess he's my guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, Barry Sanders has a conflict that weekend, so he actually cannot make it. So we're still working. We're still putting together the lineup. It's all the way until September. So start saving those bucks for the incredible lineup that we'll be having there. Let's talk about Chicago. I just came from Chicago. So although we broadcast from Chicago, I didn't get to share with you some of the cool stuff that we did last week. And one of the cool things was I got to meet a couple of people that I was not expecting to meet, but I did meet. I met the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase from the WWE.
Uh-huh.
Everybody has a price for the $1 Million Man. Got to meet him. He looks very similar to the way he looked when he wrestled, even though he's 70.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to see these guys. They move a little slower, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other person I was not expecting to meet that I met was Butterbean.
Oh, Eric Butterbean Lesh?
Esh? Butterbean. I will tell you, he looks different. He looks different. He looks like a retired boxer for sure. But he was super nice. Him and his wife were there. They do a lot of these shows and set up, and he was a great guy.
Yeah,
I got
Eric
to take
Esch, you're correct.
Yeah, I got to meet him. I took a selfie. I paid for selfies for both guys. $1 Million Man was $40, but I got to hold his belt and take a picture with him. He didn't want to get up, so I'm seated next to him. And then I put them on social. You can follow us on Instagram at True Sports Cards, and you'll see the photo there, as well as Butterbean, who would only charge $20 for the selfie. So I did it. Yeah. So whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need autographs. I need proof that that they're my guy.
Yeah.
So that's how I did it.
That's nice.
Yeah. Have you been to a show and met a celebrity besides you or Kyle Draper? When you did
the
our
only one
show,
I could say is Kevin Mitchell.
When you
Got to
guys
hang
did
out
the
with
interview
Kevin
with
Mitchell
him.
a little bit, which was really cool.
you asked him the weirdest question about his underwear.
I did, and he didn't really want to answer it.
Refresh the audience with a question.
Supposedly, the 1986 World Series Game 6, the Red Sox were on the verge of winning their first World Series since, before Babe Ruth, whatever it was. And they even flashed on the scoreboard at Shea Stadium, congratulations, Red Sox, 1986 World Champions. But then the Mets on the bottom of the whatever it was, there was the famous, and the ball gets by Buckner.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Mets rallied, and they had a series of pinch hits and singles. I think Gary Carter had a hit. I think Ray Knight had a hit, and Kevin Mitchell had a hit. It was a pinch hit. He was in the clubhouse, and he was getting undressed because he thought the game's over, the season's over. And according to legend, someone said, "Hey, Mitch, you got a hit." And he, in a hurry to go out to take his at-bat, he had already taken his underwear off and didn't put it back on. So I just asked him, "Is it true you got a hit in the World Series with no underwear on?" And he just didn't really want to talk about that. He had said, "I know what you're going to ask me," but he didn't know what I was going to ask him. And I don't think he ever really he neither confirmed nor denied.
Why didn't you be a pressing journalist and hit him hard with the questions over and over again? So, Kevin, just for clarification, yes or no on the underwear, buddy?
You have to read the subject, and Kevin Mitchell's not the type, in my opinion, that you want to press on things like that,
The text line is on fire. Here we go.
There you go.
From the 916.
Simran has a new toy.
Yeah, Ben says, "Can you hunt down an Olden Polynice rookie card?" OP sucks. OP sucks. I was in the crowd cheering that when he had obviously left us and talked smack about the Kings. You know how I feel about players that leave and talk smack about the Kings.
He came on our show, I don't know, a year and a half ago, whatever it was. He's really cool, and he's made peace, at least in his mind, with Sacramento.
Has he?
Yes. Whenever you have a few moments, I'll tell you a great Olden Polynice.
I don't want to talk about Olden Polynice.
Okay.
Have you attended ARF card events, says the 510, Seth from Folsom. I used to enjoy going to them as a kid. Nice to hear your show this morning. I agree. It is nice to hear our show this morning.
ARF?
I don't know what ARF is. ARF.
Yeah.
ARF. Hit us back up, Seth. I don't know what ARF is. Is that like a dog show?
I don't know.
Hey,
you have to be careful because some people will, they'll take liberties on the text line.
The 916
Just make sure you pre-read.
I don't do that.
Okay.
I'm going
all right. I warned you.
Hey, we got a 7-second dump button. Anthony, keep your finger on the trigger here. 916. Hey guys, this show got me back into buying cards.
Oh,
the
nice.
Staff at the store in Rockland, that's my store, was really helpful and informative since I was so naive.
Just have fun. Just make sure you're having fun.
You know what it comes down to? Truly, I think of us like bartenders, but we're card tenders, and we need to help you be responsible when you're at our shop. We want to make sure you're not overspending past the budget that you're feeling comfortable with. We can always find the right card for you, no matter what your budget is, and help you get into this game. A lot of people will bring in cards just kind of estimating, hey, can you tell me what this card is worth? And this leads to the Tony La Russa Animal Rescue Foundation.
It is ARF. Okay.
I have done that show. I have gone to that, but I went only during my real estate career. So we did some work with them. They're based out of Pleasanton, if I'm not mistaken.
He started that when he managed the A's, I believe.
Yeah, we did it. We did an event. My old company that I'm still owner of a portion of it, but my old real estate franchise company, we would do some work with Tony La Russa's Animal Rescue Foundation. They're a great organization.
Yeah.
And Tony was very generous with his time. He donated a bunch of signed baseballs and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a cool organization. I forgot that's what the acronym was for. Wait, I'm looking at Peg Junk stuff here. What was his batting average while batting commando?
I think it was 1,000, but I don't know how many other times he did it.
Yeah.
And that's in the World Series. He probably has the record for batting average, highest batting average in the World Series without underwear on.
I'll leave you with this. We got two more. We have a card brand that just came out this week. It was 2024 Zenith Hobby Football came out. Zenith Hobby. Hey, it's awesome. $239 a box. We got 4 or 5 boxes left. We sold a bunch yesterday.
Product?
Yep, we were looking at Panini Zenith. 6 cards.
Ooh.
$239 a box. It's normally $250 retail. We have it for $239. I expect to sell out today.
How many autos?
2 autos. One is a patch auto and one is a regular auto. You're getting a couple of other inserts. 6 cards, $239. It's one of those high risk, high reward boxes.
Sure.
Pretty nice. I enjoy them. They have this nice hollow foil to them. And if you want to go check them out, our store is open today, 10 to 6, tomorrow, 10 to 5. I'll be in the shop tomorrow, 10 to 5. My wife and baby will be out of town visiting grandma. But so that means I get to work all day long. Joyous for me.
You're not going to have those longer hours that Kyle Draper.
The Draper hours.
He wants you to have.
So yesterday on Drive Guys, Drapes goes, hey man, you need to extend the hours. I go, no, we're not going to do Draper hours. And he goes, well, what does that mean? Draper hours means, hey, I got this thing to do. I can't be there between 10 and 6. Can you meet me at the shop at 8 a.m.? Hey man, I'm doing this thing. I can't be there before 6 o'clock. Can you meet me at the shop at 9 p.m.? Those are Draper hours.
That's what he said, right? He said you closed too early for him to get there after the show ends.
And he was joking, and he goes, hey, man, I'm a celebrity. Don't I get my own hours? And I go, what? Celebrity for what? It's me and you in the shop at 9:30 at night. Well, you think I'm going to be odd? Not ODD, but AWED?
Gotcha.
As in awe-inspiring? No, you're not going to. Because you know what's going to happen? He's going to show up. He's going to, I'm here. I'm ready to spend. And then he'll look at something for $100 and go, hey, man, let me get that for the Draper special price.
By the way, if you go to the show at the Wyndham today, it's a great show. Kyle Draper may be there. He said yesterday, and I can tell when he means it. He may swing by there today. So you may see him there.
Hashtag blessed. Hashtag blessed. That's all we can hope for. The other one that came out this week was 2024-25 Donruss Choice Basketball. Another small box of cards, not many to it. 10 cards, but you're getting 2 autographs, 3 parallels. Yes, sir.
What is Choice? Is it a Chrome product? Why is it Choice?
It's just more. So Donruss Hobby has lots of cards and 1 autograph.
So it's the paper Donruss, but it's just like more hits.
Get rid of the fat.
Gotcha.
Right. So you're just going for the meat.
Gotcha.
And no real rice, potatoes, all the other stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So this is high risk, high reward. You'll see that in a lot of types of boxes. Topps is famous for it. Bowman Hobby, Bowman Chrome, HTA, the small box with fewer cards but more refractors, more autos, etc. So you just
gotcha.
Yeah, it's they have called some of these products Breaker's Delight because Breakers, instead of taking an hour to open a box and looking at every card, you open in a box. There's 10 cards in it, so you can open 10 times the amount of boxes
and a lot more hits, higher percentage of hits.
As we close out today's show, as we head back. I'm asking you, but I'm not expecting you. Are you headed back to the show?
I may. Yeah, I may.
He may. Draper will be there.
I'm there.
Okay, done.
Yeah.
We need the entire Drive Guys team there. We'll be back next week, regular time, but hopefully you and I will be at the Hard Rock Casino there in Wheatland, California for the Collected Show. We'll be there both days. Myself, the team, Whitey Gleason. Anthony, you want to come out there or no?
Hey, maybe. Wait, do I have to pay to get in? That's a real question.
Probably.
How much do I have to pay to get in?
Yeah,
do you guys have media passes for producers?
Anthony will be in the parking lot producing the show. because I'm certainly not going to pay for that guy to get in. But yeah, we look forward to seeing all of you at the card show today. We'll be there till about 4 or 5 o'clock, depending on time that you show up, listener. And we'd love to buy some cards or sell some cards to you. So as always, please join us next week on the True Sports Card Show for me, Whitey Gleason, and Anthony behind the window. We've got Whitey taking us with the card store.
Yeah. Have fun.
See ya.
If there's a sports card you need, this is the place.